Okay, this is Dry Fire 2, and today we're going to use a couple of guns here. Also, I want you to, let's recap a little bit about dry firing. Dry firing is using the pistol to simulate actual firing without ammunition in the gun. So the first thing we always want to do is make sure the firearm is empty. Okay, this one is empty. Let's look at the revolver. And the revolver is empty. Now we can simulate everything that happens when shooting live ammunition except for the recoil and noise. So dry firing, what we're practicing is trigger control and focusing on the front sight and pressing the trigger. Remember I said press. We don't want to squeeze with the whole hand. We want to press the trigger. Now, during these sessions, what we're trying to do is gain as most proficiency with the firearm as possible. Now, we should continually fire. If you ever go to a range, one good drill to do would be at maybe 7 yards or 10, 20 feet or so. It's when you're firing into the target, focusing on the front sight, not the target, but the front sight, and fire your magazine of ammunition. Don't go staring at the target to see what you're doing or see how well you did, because what will happen is your tendency is to be focusing on the target, not your front sight. So after doing that, what I want you to do is try to get a ragged hole. In other words, one ragged hole, you consistently placing ammunition through that target, okay? The big thing is this. We always practice what we do, so we'll do what we practice. That's the biggest thing, because muscle memory is going to take over, and whatever you've been training will take over if you get into a situation where you have to use your firearm. So muscle memory is super important. And with this double action again, I'm going to take it, focus on the front sight. Again, I'm going to check it, make sure there's nobody home, and press the trigger. Now, one great tool for getting feedback on how well you're doing, I'm going to do it right now. This particular gun has a laser built into it. Now what I'm going to do is, through the back of our store, there's a red fire extinguisher with a gauge on top of it. Now what I'm going to do is place the laser on and show you how consistent I can be with this. And that gauge is probably 1.5 inches in circumference. Another neat thing about what I just did was I didn't bring it up to eye level. With a laser, it allows you to, in fact, I'm going to do it at mid-level. So you see, with a laser, it allows us to brace ourselves and have more control over the firearm. So it's a neat little device. So here it is again. This is dry firing a weapon, making sure the ammunition is in a separate room so we don't make any mistakes, and maintaining all our techniques that we're trying to learn: trigger control, breath control, focusing on the front sight, and able to do that without firing around. Well, you need, if you get around the area, come to a Flour Mill and Trading Post. It's 503 Clark Street in Canton, Missouri. If you get a chance, come on in. Thanks again.